G'day guys, I'm just up here in the almond orchard picking up the bees. They're ready to go home, finished pollinating. You can see the trees here, there's no flowers left. You can see here all the flowers are finished. See a few little almond fruit there starting to form. So they've only been here for 15 days this year. It's been a very quick flowering event because of the hot, warm weather, warm sunny weather. It's really quite warm here today too. But anyway, we got notified yesterday that we can come and get the bees, so I'm up here at the first opportunity because, as you can see, no flowers left, so these bees are going to get very hungry. And there's a lot of beehives here in this orchard, so you don't want to get tangled up in any robbing situations or anything like that, so I'll get mine out of here as soon as possible. So these single poly hives, I'm just going around and I'm putting a screen on them for transporting. So it's just a bit of a rim there with the screen on it. You might have seen some other guys using them online. This is the first time I've been doing that. We'll get into those later, but for now I'm just going through these doubles. This 8-frame gear, there's vents in the lid, but I usually have a mat in there to keep the warmth in, but just for travelling them home I'm going to take all those mats out so they can ventilate through the lid. And there's also actually vents in the floor of these hives, so I can shut the entrance and there should be enough ventilation for them. So yeah, there's been plenty of good foraging weather. I've done a few of these already and they're showing a little bit of honey in the top box, so if I find a good one here I'll just show you what they look like. Might be able to see through the mat there, a bit of white comb. They've pushed up the mat a bit and a bit of burr comb. There's heaps of bees in there. What's this? Oh yeah, this is actually my breeder queen. I'll just leave her for a moment. See if I can find another good one. No, there's no bees flying out of this one, so yeah, a bit of a weaker one there. The flight's dropped off a lot since I came into the yard. I don't really want to dig into a weak one. I don't want to spark any robbing going on. There's another apiary of hives just down the end of the row there, so just want to be careful not to start a robbing event. Yeah, they look pretty good. There's plenty of bees and the supers and that. Oh yeah, number 20, that's the Western Australian one. hear a machine going through the orchard just over there. I kind of hope they're not spraying. Hopefully he runs out before he gets to me. They generally spray fungicide right before the flowering and right after, so you don't really want that in your hives. Yeah, so there's fresh nectar, a bit of fresh pollen up here above the excluder. You can see fresh honey along the top there. That'd have to be the almond tree honey. Just going to try a bit of that. Yeah, it's definitely almond honey. It's absolutely horrible stuff. I'm just putting that screen on there, and then the lid on like that. So you can't see, but there's a gap there where they can ventilate through the screen, so I can shut them in. Right, just going to have a quick look in one of these poly singles, see what they've got going on. So I can see fresh honey, nice lot of bees right across. So capped honey right to the outside wall, honey and a little bit of pollen. I'll just sit that out there, skip in a bit, try and find some brood. Oh yeah. A patch of brood there. This foundation's warped. Look at all that pollen, sort of a creamy yellow colour. It's just a big slab of pollen there. So of course there's a pollen frame, so I can see eggs and larva there, capped brood. Oh, there's the queen there. So you can see how the brood nest has expanded out. This bit's emerged and they've laid a bit more, and it's emerged and they've come out right to the end bars, right to the bottom bar there. You can see that brood right to the bottom bar. Yep, looks nice and healthy. Nice and bright white colour. Beautiful frame of brood there. Another big frame of brood. Looks nice and healthy. Young brood in the centre, and it's emerging, and then sort of a wave of brood coming all the way out. A bit of pollen down here in the corner. Okay, third big frame of brood. Capped brood, thick band of pollen here. It's probably hard for you to see that pollen. Then young open brood. Look at that. Beautiful capped brood there. It's a nice fresh looking frame. Okay, big slab of pollen here. Fresh nectar and honey. Just a little patch of brood there, so she's really out of space. You sort of look at this and go, gee, I'd love to leave them here a bit longer, but it's all over here. It's all over. Time to move on. Capped honey. So this is a 9 frame poly box, and it's chock-a-block. Chock-a-block full of bees and honey and brood and pollen. So I'm just putting that film forward a bit and then put the screen on like that. So as I'm traveling, they've got that whole back section to ventilate through. Now I can just sit their mat there, the lid there like that. So they're ready to travel now. I'll just do another one here. It's another brown box. I think the brown ones were all sort of later nukes and that I made. Anyways, thankfully the spray has gone back the other way somewhere, so hopefully he doesn't do this part this afternoon. I'll get these bees out of here. So a bit of a first glance, there's bees right across. Nice looking box of bees. Okay, just a foundation there, and they haven't put anything in that. That's okay. There's an old frame of capped honey. Right, and here we are straight into brood. You can see the capped brood there. And similar thing there, a little bit of brood, open brood and pollen all the way around. So there's one of their older frames of brood, sort of open brood all the way out to the pollen there. A big fat band of pollen. Now the brood all looks healthy. Nice frame of brood here. So there's emerging brood here. Eggs. Nice slab of capped brood. So once again, a nice single of bees. They're ready to travel with their screen on. It'd be nice to have a good honey flow or something to take these to, but unfortunately down where I live the spring's sort of a bit late and there's really not much flowering, so they're going to come home to sort of tough conditions, but can't do anything about that. So when they're sitting by itself I might check on it. They're a bit stingy, that one, so I'll leave them alone. You're probably wondering what the hell this is. This is a Bee Hero gateway. You might have seen the sensors inside the hives. So that's communicating back to California to tell the Almond Pollination company how many bees I've got in my hives and how strong they are and all that, so they can stock the orchard properly and pay me properly and charge the almond farm properly. So that's the Bee Hero sensor, and it's communicating back to this thing by Bluetooth. Here's a nice populated box of bees. I'm not going to go through too many because all these frames are nicely stuck together, and when you travel you don't want them rattling around and moving around, so I'll just leave these alone. have a better look at them when I get them home. These hives haven't changed much since I dropped them here, because there hasn't even actually been enough time for one round of brood. These singles that were on the edge of town, they came up here with brood in them, so they have hatched out a bit of new brood, but like those doubles out in the scrub where they were sitting, they're virtually broodless, so they haven't been here long enough to make a round of brood. So they look pretty similar to when I brought them here. Okay, this one looks a bit weaker. Bit of a poorly drawn frame there. Okay, just a bit of open brood in that frame. Got to say, probably one of my weaker hives. There's the capped brood there, so it's always good to see that and have a bit of a check for disease. Can't see any disease there. Got bees emerging there and lots of young bees on the frame, so it's looking good. Bit of a patchy brood pattern in the centre, but nice solid brood out here. Yeah, that's a good healthy patch of brood there. Now that looks like an old cutout frame or something. Sort of a bit crooked, but they're raising in it anyway. There's a nice slab of brood. There's a pollen frame there. So they've pretty much got 4 frames of brood in them. So the idea of putting these screens on is just stop the bees suffocating, because I've got that big brood nest opened up and they're in polystyrene. They can overheat and actually suffocate. I've seen it happen before, so I don't want that to happen. So I'll just put screens on all these singles and then they'll be safe to travel home with. Well, just an interesting little side note. Usually in the almonds, set your bees up in a row like this you'll get a bit of drift. So I've got down here to the last box and have a look at this. It's a bit stronger than all the rest. So the bees have been drifting a bit, which means as they come back in from the orchard, they just a bit tuck it out, or they, you know, haven't orientated properly, so they just go to the first box they come to, which is this one here. So just a bit of drift there, one a bit stronger than the others. Build a whole heap of burr comb, which is all right. But anyway, just 1, 2, 3 screens to put on and I'm finished. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so there's still about 2 hours before they stop flying. So I just think these sprayers seem to be working this way. They're getting louder. I think I'm going to have to just get out of here for a couple of hours and come back and then load up. Unfortunately, I don't think I can avoid getting this spray on them, unless I just shut them up now and chuck them on and leave. It might be a better idea. We'll see what happens.